Hello, I'm Christopher J. Thompson, and welcome to another edition of Chris Speaks. Okay, here in Texas, our government, seen in the state, they're a bunch of clowns. They're always trying to come up with these crazy laws that are on the guise of protecting people or keeping people safe or doing this, or in this case protecting our military bases, when it's really disguised just to cover over what they're really plotting to do. Okay, the first thing, I read the headlines of the local paper, and it was like, it didn't make sense to me, because it said, oh, they're making a law to make it so they can't close, so military bases won't be closed down. And first I'm thinking, well, first of all, it's the federal government and the military who decides what they shut down or not. And it is, but they're trying to act like it isn't. This thing, I'll tell you right this, it has nothing to do with the military. It has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with big oil in Texas, and Texas is a big oil and natural gas exporter. And in this case, they're trying to get rid of green energy. They're basically coming up with this to tear down the turbines. They're not really tearing them down physically, well, I guess that too, but they're trying to say that the turbines are causing problems. Okay, this is what it says, and I'll explain it to you more, because, okay, well, their thing is, well, they're putting the wind farms are forcing to shut down military bases, mostly Air Force bases, because they interfere with the radar. Because, the big poor federal government can't say no, or we're not going to close our base or do anything to change things. It's the big bad wind energy and green energy companies that are against our military. First of all, they're all right already say, oh, look at the military, that we care so much that we constantly send them to die for wars that don't matter, for things that don't matter, for wars that don't need to be had. But we care so much about them. We care so much about them because we can use them as an excuse to completely destroy our planet, because the oil companies don't want people to go to cleaner fuels, cleaner sources of energy. Okay, so this is the claim. The claim is that military bases will be forced to shut down because these turbines interfere with the radar. Okay, yes, they can interfere with the radar, and this is what happens. First of all, there's no necessary for any law in Texas, because it's handled by the federal government, the military, and the FAA determine that. In most cases, they'll determine either whether they decide not to let them do the turbines, or the easiest thing to do, but it costs a little money, is upgrade their radar systems so where it isn't a problem, or tell them to shut it down. Or if they decide, because they're the government and the state doesn't decide who shuts down or doesn't shut down what base, then they decide. But to say it's like, oh, the wind farms are forcing everybody to shut down, no. And there's several reports that say that we can have those and have the military bases and everything can be in harmony. But it's not about the military bases. It's not. This is Texas. Big oil Texas. Texas is about oil, and now oil and natural gas. And those companies don't want these companies taking away their money from them. Instead, they want to keep bringing up this poison out of the ground, destroying the water, destroying the air, destroying everything. And because, they're going to be rich, and they're only going to be here another 20 years or so, 30 years, 40 years. And it'll be fine now, and just the other younger generations, who cares about them? Yeah, because you don't care about your kids and their kids and their kids. And you're probably going to be affected by it sooner than ever. But this claim that, oh my God, these big, terrible green energy companies are coming after the military bases and the poor oil companies that have nothing to do. Oh, they need to protect these soldiers so much, these military bases. It's ridiculous. It's unfounded, because the states don't decide, and these other companies don't decide what air bases get shut down, or whether a base gets upgraded or not upgraded. It's not up to them. It's up to the federal government. It's up to the military. And if you really think that this has nothing to do with it, I mean, come on, Texas. They call it Texas tea for a reason. Basically it's the military that decides, the government, the federal government, that decides if things get closed down or not. So now it made sense. It's like now we know what their ulterior motive is, and it's ridiculous. I'm in a red state, and they just do all these ridiculous things. They claim the big government. They cry big government. The government's too overreaching. But I guess to them only the federal government's the problem, but they're allowed to be overreaching. They're allowed to be big government as long as it's state big government and not the federal big government. This is just another ploy. It's just like in those states where they have all these bathroom laws. It has nothing to do with protecting anyone or anything. It's about them being able to tell people what to do, but not the federal government tell us what to do. No, that's up to the states to be able to tell you whether you can have wind farms, or you can have this, or you can go to the bathroom of your choice, or whether what you can and can't do in your bedroom, and who you can and can't with. They're fine with doing those things. They're fine with trying to trick you into thinking that they're protecting the military. If they cared about protecting the military, they wouldn't send them to these endless wars, these baseless wars, these needless wars. They wouldn't constantly, when the Republicans have taken over Congress and the House, they wouldn't constantly take away the benefits and then blame it on the Democrats after they decided to take away the benefits. And that's one thing about the South. How can you be a patriot and still have a Confederate flag? No, the Confederate flag is not a symbol of Southern pride, because the South was before it and the South was after it. You can't be both for the federal government and flying the flag that's opposed to that government, that actually tried to lead that government. But we're not talking about this. It's just another ploy by the Republican-run Texas House in what is it? Damn it! The House and the Congress, Senate. The Senate and the House. Sorry, just drew a blank there for a second. But yeah, because we need the funny thing about this, it's like the same thing as like the anti-Sharia law things. There's none of that being practiced. You're not really trying to do what you're saying you're trying to do, because there's, like with that, there's already a federal law that keeps that from going on. Just like the Pentagon has the last say about closing or not closing bases, and you can't. The state doesn't tell the government what they can and can't do. They're the federal government. That means their jurisdiction is the entire United States. Well, that's all I gotta say. See you guys next time.